Having it all. John Assaraf. Dammy Lawman. Hi there, everybody, and welcome to another exciting session of the Intention event. We're here to help you get clear on what you want and give you the top 24 techniques, experts, methods, and systems so you can manifest each and every dream. My name is Tammy Lawman, and I'm your host. The journey of personal growth is a very personal thing to each of us. We all have different desires that will make our lives fulfilled and full of joy. Perhaps you want to lose 20 pounds and you constantly battle and struggle with nutrition and exercise. Maybe you want to become financially free but fight every day with old bad habits that stop you from achieving that. Maybe you long for enduring love in your life, but you struggle with self-confidence and you can barely talk to yourself in the mirror, let alone talk to someone else. Whatever you want out of your life, we're here to help you get it. We have the best expert in the industry with us today to talk to you about having it all. His name is John Assaraf, and he's the two-time New York Times best-selling author of Having It All and the Answer. As a teenager, John lived a turbulent lifestyle that could have easily led to jail or to the morgue. On his quest to overcome his challenges and fulfill his desire to live a purposeful and meaningful life, he discovered a unique passion for brain research and quantum physics as they relate to achieving success in business and in life. Today he shares that passion with audiences worldwide. To one of the experts featured in the worldwide phenomenon hit film and book The Secret. To made appearances on Larry King Live, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Anderson Cooper 360 and other major media outlets, and also one of the Marshall Goldsmith School of Management distinguished thought leaders. In the last 20 years, John has built 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and his personal passions are his family, spirituality, exercise, cooking, travel, and helping entrepreneurs understand how to incorporate the psychological and strategic sides of building a successful business in life. John, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the Intention event. John Assaraf. Hi, Dammy. It's great to be on. Congratulations on putting on such a great program that I've heard about. Dammy Lawman, thank you. We've been very fortunate. We've had such a great response, and it's been awesome. John Assaraf, that's wonderful. Dammy Lawman, you have such an amazing and impressive bio. You're an entrepreneur and best-selling author. You've made film and TV appearances. Most of us have trouble succeeding in just one area of our lives. What's your secret? John Assaraf, the secret is a lot of hard work, but it's more than hard work. When I was younger, my life was really going down the wrong train on the wrong track. I was blessed to have some wonderful mentors who were able to show me that I had more potential, which I knew and felt inside, like I think a lot of people do. They showed me how to do it, and they kept me accountable to doing it. At a very young age, I was really blessed with people who had a blueprint for me to follow. What I've subsequently discovered in my studies and my travels is true for just about every single result that anybody who's listening wants to achieve, whether it's better health, more money, better relationships, or a deeper spiritual connectedness. With anything that we want to achieve, for the most part, somebody has already done it, written about it, and taught it. What we have to do is really be open to the idea that no matter what has happened in the past, we can let it go. Let go of the addictions of our past and the opinions we have about that. We can start on the brand new way of thinking and behaving right now, today, if we're just willing to let go of some things that we may not be happy with, proud of, or content with. Then we start to do things differently that will yield a different result in a day, a week, a month, or 6 months. The process to climbing Mount Everest is not straight up. It's zigzagged. Sometimes you take a few steps backward like chutes and ladders. The whole idea is to move toward a destination that you want to achieve. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired when I was in my late teens. I was lucky that it happened early to me. Maybe that's because I started working when I was 8 years old at the dry cleaner, 9 years old at the pharmacy, 10 years old at the grocery store, and 11 years old at the factory pressing clothes. I got into the business world at a very young age because I wanted to have money. I had a wonderful mentor who really was able to show me a different way of thinking and behaving. Then I became a voracious student of success principles, methodologies, and disciplines. I'll tell you from a person who didn't like school and left at grade 11, it's been a wonderful journey that has had trials and tribulations, highs and lows, and ups and downs. It's been just wonderful to be able to learn, apply, and teach to other people so they can really get away from many of the negative thoughts and feelings, the lack of confidence or the uncertainty that they may be feeling, and really get into a space of more confidence, certainty, and faith that there is a way for them to achieve success in their own lives. That's what I'm passionate about today, showing people that they can no matter what. Dammy Lawman, awesome. You talk about helping people to let go of all the bad things in their life. You would think that would be easy for people if it's something that's causing us pain. Why is it so hard for people to do that? John Assaraf, the good news is we can let it go. The challenging news is we become addicted to the emotions around the negative self-talk, the people that we hang around with, our environment, and our circumstances. We actually, and this is serious, neurologically become addicted to all of it, the stories, the past, and the opinions of others. We become addicted to that. What we have to realize is that these soft addictions become hardwired, and once they become hardwired, we do everything to maintain them. The good news is that's the way the brain works. The bad news is that's the way the brain works. What we need to understand is how to learn to let go of these thought addictions, perception addictions, and behavioral addictions. Now with the latest brain research, we have a much clearer and better idea of how to do that. I was fortunate that when I was in my early 20s, I was taught the art of visualizing a new life. I was taught to do meditations, affirmations, and things that most people weren't doing back in the early 80s. I was fortunate that my mentors and teachers taught me how to do those things early. They also taught me to upgrade my skills on a consistent basis. Dammy Lawman, fabulous. Now of all of the explanations I've heard, I love your explanation the best of how the law of attraction works. Can you share that with our audience? John Assaraf, it just depends on which explanation you like. I like to explain the law of attraction more as the law of resonance. The reason I say that is that most people don't understand that in the physical world, there are laws. Newton gave us most of those wonderful laws of physics. In the unseen world, the non-physical, quantum world, the world of the very small, the laws don't work the same way. Contrary to popular belief that like attract like, in the quantum field, if you take a magnet of positive polarity and a magnet of positive polarity and put them together, they actually repel. I'm all about dispelling myths. That's a myth. Here's the visual that I'd like everybody to have so they understand how the law of attraction works in the unseen world. Imagine if you have a piano, and you have a chandelier 20 or 30 feet away. If you play a certain key on the piano, how is it that without any strings attached, the chandelier will start to vibrate? The answer is that they resonate. It's the same if you have a tuning fork tuned to the A440 key and you just are holding the tuning fork when somebody plays the A440 key on the piano. How is it that the tuning fork will start to vibrate? It starts to vibrate based on the resonance factor of the A440 key in the piano. Everything in the universe that resonates with each other makes itself known to each other. That is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an infinitely intelligent universe that responds to vibration and frequencies. It's no different than if you want to hear a certain type of music, you tune into the frequency that already is in the room that the radio receiver tunes into. When you and I know what we want to achieve, we can focus on that and have the mental image of that. by forcing that mental image to be very clear in our minds, we're actually causing 100 trillion of our little radio transistors and receivers called cells to vibrate at that frequency and to send out that frequency and message. Anybody else who is on that same frequency picks that up. I'll give some simplistic visuals for people to understand that the law of attraction works through a resonance field of information and a non-physical field of information. If you think that's a little bizarre, think about this. When you call somebody on your cell phone and you are speaking into the microphone on the phone, it defragments your voice. It's just noise, basically. It shoots it through space and time, off of a satellite, onto somebody else's little chip that's receiving that message from you. How is that any different if they're 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 miles away? With one we're using a physical object called a telephone. With another we're using the most powerful electromagnetic switching device called your brain. Now we start to say, should I really be paying that much attention to my thoughts? Yes. Should I be paying that much attention to my feelings? Yes, because feeling are the magnifier of thoughts. No differently than you can take a magnifying glass and sit outside in the sun and use it to burn a piece of paper or a leaf by focusing the energy, you can take your thoughts and amplify the frequency by emotionalizing the feeling. What we're now finding through some of the latest brain and quantum physics research is the more focus that we have around a thought or a feeling, the more we are affecting the unseen, non-physical world. It's not just limited to our unseen physical world locally. Our thoughts and emotions are so potent we can be thinking about somebody, and all of a sudden an email or telephone call comes up. We've all experienced that. Some people say, that's an accident. That's a coincidence. A coincidence is nothing more than two angles coinciding. We can have angles of thought and emotions. We can have lots of different things that we are learning today that can help everybody who's listening have a much more robust, abundant life in every area of their life. That's really the fun part for me. I've been a voracious student of how people can have it all by learning more about their gifts and abilities and by using natural laws of the universe and their brains based on science instead of myth and sage advice. Dammy Lawman, wonderful. On your website, you talk about what you just mentioned. There's a proven scientific method for helping people overcome their doubts, fears, and frustrations. Can you share some tidbits about that method and how that works? John Assaraf, absolutely. Where do doubts come from? Does everybody have the same doubts? If you take anything that you want to achieve, how come some people don't have any doubt that they can achieve that and other people have doubts that they can achieve it? Basically what's happening is we're dealing with neural networks or pathways in the brain. Think about this for just a minute. If you think about how a computer works, we have the hardware, we have the operating system in the computer, and then we have the software. If you think about how the human works, we have the hardware called our body, we have the operating system called the brain, and then we have the software or the beliefs and habits. If you have the beliefs that you have the confidence, certainty, and know how to do something, then you have little or no doubt. If you have the knowledge, confidence, certainty, and skills, then you have little or no fear to move forward. What we're dealing with is a neurological situation where if we learn how to alter our beliefs and habits and raise our level of confidence and certainty, then we're going to reduce the lack of confidence and certainty and the amount of fear and doubts that we have for achieving what it is that we want in our lives. If we start with the inner game, that's where it starts. Obviously, in the physical world we have to do the right things in the right order to achieve a predictable result. It's not enough to think about it or feel it. You actually do have to do something. One of the things about the law of attraction is the last 6 letters are action. I say it's not just any type of action because there are a lot of people doing busy stuff. They are busy, but they are not effective because they are not doing the right things or they are not doing the right things in the right order. If we want to have alignment between our conscious and our subconscious, Our conscious chooses, but our subconscious is what delivers. All of our beliefs, habits, and values are at the subconscious level. The formula is to alter the beliefs, and the beliefs are nothing more than the software of the brain. We can alter beliefs by using affirmations the right way in the right brainwave frequency called alpha. We can do visualization techniques to accelerate the neuronal growth or the software creation in the brain. Then we can alter our behaviors by determining what behaviors we need to act upon and then creating a process, system, environment, and accountability around taking new actions so that we are achieving new results by doing different things. Dummy Lawman, John, if people have failed to achieve success in the past, or if they say, "I've tried the law of attraction and it doesn't work for me," how do they know that they get lasting results with your method? John Assaraf, when they say they've tried the law of attraction, that's like somebody saying, "I tried singing once." If you haven't learned how to do it properly and you haven't practiced, why would it work? There are some things that most people don't understand about the law of attraction, and that is you have to have conscious and subconscious resonance for the entire body to send out a frequency that matches up with what it is that you want. If you are thinking about all the things that you want to achieve and you have vision boards and goals, but you have negative beliefs or subconscious beliefs that you're not worthy, you don't deserve success, or you don't really believe that it's going to work, it's not going to work. There has to be a harmony and balance between the conscious and the subconscious mind. There are ways to do that, and that's what I'm talking about when we're dealing with the brain. There's part of the brain called the explicit memory system, and there's another part of the brain called the implicit memory system. The explicit memory system is the part of our brain that causes us to read a book, go to a seminar, buy a DVD or CD, and say, "I know that stuff. I've done goal setting in the past. I've tried affirmations in the past. They don't work." It's not the implicit part of the brain that's responsible for behavior. I've discovered this in building my companies and having salespeople go from making an average of $38,000 a year each to $128,000 a year each by following this process. That's 1,500 of them, by the way. That was the average. We've helped people retrain their brains so that they have an unconscious and subconscious coherence. A coherence pattern is what's required in order to really get the law of attraction to work properly and consistently. If you don't have that coherence pattern, you don't have the law of attraction working for you. Very few people teach how to get that synchronicity between the conscious and subconscious mind. By the way, everything that I'm talking about is what I've done in my own life. I wrote about it in my first book, Having It All. And I wrote about it in my second and third books, The Answer and the Complete Vision Board Kit. More importantly, I've taught it around the world, and people have gotten amazing results because they are thinking and feeling the right way. They have the right beliefs, and they are doing the right things. That's a combination that I say gives you a predictable result and a predictable transformation. It's not rocket science, but it is a science. Anybody can do it. They just need to be prepared to make some shifts and do things a little bit differently than they've done before. That's why I've gone to the science field to see, is this duplicatable? Can anybody do it? The answer is yes. Dummy Lawman, awesome. John, can you share some examples of people you've worked with and what kind of results they've gotten? John Assaraf, absolutely. I can share lots and lots of stories. We had a guy by the name of Randy Keys who was really struggling financially and was about 80 pounds overweight. He was in the real estate business, and he didn't know how he was going to make ends meet. He was unhealthy, unhappy, and not doing very well. He got involved in one of the programs I have called Having It All. We started out by really having him focus on exactly what it was that he wanted to achieve. He started to write his goals down and do a process called the Neural Reconditioning process that I created around some affirmations, visualizations, and meditations. He started listening to the CD that I had created every day for about 20 minutes a day. There were 4 tracks on that CD, so he had a choice of which track to listen to. Then he put a plan together for what he wanted to achieve, but he was doing the inner work and the outer work. He ended up releasing 80 pounds and making over $1 million a year consistently for several years after doing this. The question is, how was he able to do that? He was changing from the inside out. He changed his image of himself, and then he did things in the right order that I talk about. What I want to make sure people understand is that in the movie The Secret, when we talked about think, believe, and achieve, I don't agree with that. It's not just think, believe, and achieve. It's think, believe, use the law of Goya, and then achieve. Are you familiar with the law of Goya? Dammy Lawman, no. Please explain it. John Assaraf, it's called Get Off Your Ass. I don't mean to be rude, of course. I've been applying the law of Goya with the law of attraction. When you get off your butt and actually move toward what it is that you want and do the things that are required to get the physical results, the universe will conspire to help you. Don't think for a second that you just have to think about it. It just doesn't work that way. It's not logical. Think about this. This is for everybody who's listening. Do you already know what you could be doing to make more money, be healthier, have a better relationship, or have a better spiritual connection? The answer is yes. The question is, why aren't you doing it? That's the question that I love to answer. You're not doing it because you're not conditioned to do it, even though you think about it and know how to do it. The key is to recondition yourself to think, feel, and behave differently. That's more in line with what you want to achieve. Dammy Lawman, awesome. John, what's the first step to help some of our audience members tap into their subconscious mind? John Assaraf, the first step, and part of what's absolutely necessary, is to get very clear about exactly what you want to achieve. This isn't tapping into the subconscious mind. What you want to do is get absolute clarity on the vision of what you want and your purpose. Your vision is like the bullseye that you're aiming at with a bow and arrow or a gun. You want to give your brain the absolute instruction of what it is that you want to achieve. Then what you want to do is you want to pretend like you're a Hollywood actor or actress and act as if you already have achieved that goal and dream. Why do I say pretend? I say pretend because when you get into your imagination, you visualize or imagine you're actually entering the subconscious domain. When you have that clarity and you're acting as if, even though it's not real yet, you're actually creating the neural networks, the software, at the subconscious level. Why is that important? It's important because our brains are consistently looking in this field of consciousness of ours for anything that matches up with what's programmed in at the subconscious level. What we want to do is train our brain how to find what it is that we want in books, through people, on TV, on DVD, or through programs. What we want to consistently do is impress that into the subconscious mind over and over again so that it becomes fixed in our subconscious mind. Then we work 24/7 to find that, to be in that vibration, and to send out that signal. As we do that, we start to perceive things differently. We actually start to see things that we didn't see before. We start to act in ways we didn't act before. That is really the key, to get the subconscious mind to buy into the vision and the goal even though it's not a reality right now. Some people say, it's not the truth right now. I say, I understand that, but the subconscious mind doesn't know that. If you keep impressing something that's not real or true right now and it starts to accept it as truth, it then gets you to start thinking, perceiving, and acting differently. That's why success is an inside-out game. The old adage of, when I see it, I'll believe it, is wrong. It's when you believe it, that's when you'll see it. All of these exercises are around getting it to be believed first as you take action toward it. Dammy Lawman, that's really powerful what you just said about seeing and believing. John, do you find a lot of people have a little trouble with that area, or do they find themselves saying, I don't know how to act, or how do I know that I'm being genuine if I'm just role-playing this if it's not real yet? John Assaraf, that's a great question. What I did in my Having It All program was really give people the step-by-step instruction of how to set their goals, get the plans, and impress them into the subconscious mind. I'll share a story with you that occurred to me several years ago. I was on the Ellen DeGeneres show and in the green room with me was Minnie Driver. She's a Hollywood celebrity. I said, I have a question for you, Minnie. When you get a new script or a new role for a movie, how long does it take you to really own the role and be the part? She said, it's funny you ask that, John, because when I first get the script, usually I just see if I like it. Is that what I want to be a part of? I have no emotional attachment to it. As I start reading the script and I pretend that I'm the role, it feels so uncomfortable and so unreal. It takes me about 90 days to really feel like I have this role down. I have the emotions, mannerisms, feelings, quirks, and idiosyncrasies of the character. Then it just becomes a part of me. I do 5 to 7 hours a day of rehearsal and research on the role if it's needed. At first, everybody, it's going to be uncomfortable, but at first riding a bike, driving a car, having sex, drinking, smoking, cutting your hair, and clipping your nails are uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is normal. With the right process and procedures, knowing how the brain works, we can really shortcut what we've had to do in the past, which is relentless repetition. Now we can actually access the subconscious mind using what we call an alpha brainwave frequency, which now we know is the receptive state that creates the new neural networks or software I was talking about earlier. For me, the fun part is now we have the best in positive psychology that is now being used with the best in technology to alter our neurology. If you alter the neurology and change your brain, you're going to change your life, as my friend Dr. Daniel Amen so brilliantly said. Dammy Lawman, that's a great story. For people who start going through the steps to reprogram their mind, does it normally take the 90 days like Minnie's instance? What kind of results do people see? John Assaraf, people have achieved results in a day or a week, depending on what the results are. If we can teach people a simple few-step process, the first step is to be able to set goals and feel okay that they don't have to know how to achieve them yet. Then what we want to do is teach them the proper way to use affirmations, visualize, plan, and take action. If they can follow those few simple steps, they can achieve just about any goal that they want. When you're working on success from the inside out as I do in Having It All, it's going to take some time if what you want to do is have a better relationship, make more money, be in better physical, mental, and spiritual health, and have a life that really has purpose and meaning. It just takes some time. Depending on where you're starting from, you can see results in a week to 4 weeks, but if you want to really have it all, then we want to do the work on the inside. Here's a question for everybody, how many of you right now could run a marathon non-stop? I'm sure there are people listening who say, I could, but 95% of the people are saying, I can't run a full marathon right now. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you a nutritionist, a personal coach, and a trainer to work with every day, could you run a marathon in a year? The answer for everybody is, I probably could. Absolutely. What I'm suggesting to people is don't be impatient. If you do the right things in the right order and you get the right help, you can achieve the goals, whether it's running a marathon, releasing the weight that you have had a hard time releasing, making more money, or anything else. I can tell you that in order to retrain the brain, it takes about 90 days to do it properly, especially if we're retraining multiple areas and beliefs. It only takes 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's what I call my inner size program every day. As opposed to exercise for the body, we're doing inner size for the brain. Think about this. What do you think is controlling all of your thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors? It's your brain. It's actually what the brain does. You're actually controlling it. There's a thinker behind the thoughts. That's getting a little bit deeper into the understanding of how we operate, but our brain is a tool that we can learn how to use better to make it easier for us to achieve the success that may have been eluding us, or to get to the level of success we know we're capable of. Dammy Lawman, awesome. John, you've talked a little bit about the alpha and the beta with the brainwave frequencies. I was wondering if it would be too complicated to go into a little bit more about how that works. I think it would help if people understood that. John Assaraf, I want everybody to think about a stick-shift car. If you think about in gear 1, you get out of the gate. You press on the gas, you pop the clutch, and you're in gear 1. It gets you going fast. Then what you do is you shift into gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, and gear 5. You pick up more speed. What's actually happening is the engine is actually going slower as you increase or go to a different gear. Your tires are going faster. It's the same thing with your brain. Our brain has 5 different brainwave frequencies: beta, alpha, delta, theta, and gamma, which is the newest brainwave frequency that we have just measured in the last couple of years. Dr. Richard Davidson out of the University of Wisconsin did some research with some Zen monks who have been meditating for an average of 50,000 hours each. He discovered that when they entered into an empathetic emotion that they had practiced, they were entering into a gamma brainwave frequency, which is the most powerful frequency in the universe. It's the cosmic wave frequency. We can move our brain from a beta brainwave frequency into an alpha brainwave frequency. We now know that beta is responsible for our attentive behavior. It's not really the best conducive brainwave frequency for us to absorb information or change the neural networks of our brain. We can learn how to use the different frequencies and how to use our brains better. By the way, the research on the brain has only really gotten interesting in the last 10 years because we can actually now look into a live brain. Up until then, we were researching cadavers. With the fMRI technology and SPECT scan imaging technology, we can actually see in the live brain right now as we're thinking, having doubts, fears, and anxieties, playing sports, having sex, or thinking about being successful. We can now see where it is in the brain. Now we can with greater precision get the negative thoughts and feelings we have and stop or reduce them. We can start to insert more thoughts around our confidence, certainty, and beliefs about achieving whatever goal we want to achieve. The brainwave frequencies are one of the things that we need to understand. It's your and my brain just like it's your and my foot, hand, or heart. It's my responsibility to learn how to take better care of it and utilize it better. There's no use for a beautiful, fancy, incredible car sitting in your garage. Unless you're a car collector and you're using it for art or beauty, most people want to take their beautiful cars or whatever it is that they have, and they want to use it. We can now learn how to use our brains better, which makes what we do faster and easier. No differently than our technology has advanced significantly with television sets, cell phones, and computers. We're now learning how to use our brains better to achieve success a lot faster. For me, my mission and purpose is to help people achieve success easier and faster than they have in the past, and to let go of the doubts, fears, anxieties, lack of confidence, lack of certainty, and feeling that they don't deserve to achieve success. They are sabotaging their own thought patterns and behaviors. I want them to achieve success in a lot easier fashion. Dammy Lawman, awesome. John, is there a limit to what you can manifest? Is it easier to manifest something physical as opposed to something that you can't see, such as happiness, peace, and confidence? John Assaraf, we do know that confidence is going to be based on 50% of your genetics and 50% of your conditioning, as are all of your beliefs and feelings. When we talk about happiness, it's a choice that anybody could make at any moment. They could choose to be happy. The challenge for us is that we've become addicted or accustomed to external circumstances dictating whether we're happy or not. The truth is that we could be happy looking at a wall, thinking about somebody smiling, or just being. Happiness is a choice and not something that happens to you. I think there are things that can influence your happiness, but the truth is that we could be happy just being alive. There are some things that I think can cause us to feel better and some things that can cause us to feel worse. Ultimately, it's the meaning that we give anything that causes our feelings. If we change the meaning, we can change the feeling. Dammy Lawman, wonderful. I think I saw this on one of your interviews as I was checking out your website. I think it was Larry King who asked you if people could manifest bad things or make bad things happen to other people. That got me to thinking just in retrospect as you talk about your life and how it was before you got your mentor and the turbulent lifestyle that you lived. Do you think you were attracting that? Do you think people have the capability to cause bad things to come into their lives? John Assaraf, I definitely think I was attracting that because that's what I was focusing on, that's what I believed, and that's what I was doing. Was I attracting more of it? Yes. Whatever we give our attention to is going to expand, and we're going to resonate with more of that. If I'm focusing on negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, I'm going to attract more of that for sure. If anybody is around me, they may be the recipient of any of that negative stuff. I'll give you an example. I got into a lot of trouble as a kid, and my brothers and sisters were around. Did they suffer because of that? Absolutely. If my parents were pissed off, angry, and disappointed, they took it out on my brothers and sisters. Did they bring that upon themselves? No, I don't believe so. Being in that environment made them a party to it. I think number one is wherever you have control, you can limit the people you're hanging around with who don't have the same ideas, beliefs, values, and /or goals as you do. I think the more people you hang around with who are positive and share your vision, mission, and purpose, the easier it is for you to achieve your goals. Dammy Lawman, awesome. You talk a little bit about the expectancy point. Can you explain what that is and why it's important? John Assaraf, yes. If you think about a thermostat in a room, let's say the thermostat is set to the 70-degree temperature. As the owner of the home or as a guest in the room, hotel room, house, or car, you expect that temperature to be what it says on the thermostat. That's an expectancy point. Here's what we know about the brain. Each one of us has an expectancy point from the amount of money we expect to earn. We have an expectancy point for how much we weigh. We have an expectancy point of what we expect our relationship to be, how happy we should be, and absolutely everything. That has become not just our expectancy point but our comfort zone. Once the brain derives a comfort zone and an expectancy point, it does absolutely everything to make sure that is your reality, nothing less, nothing more. If you're not hitting your expectancy point and you're below it, you will work really hard to get up to your expectancy point. If you are above your expectancy point, you will work really hard to sabotage whatever you need to in order to get back to your expectancy point. That's why most people don't really live the lives that they want to live. They live the lives they are conditioned to live because that's what they really expect. That's what they've been accustomed to expect. The key is to teach yourself how to expect more, how to become more, and how to do different things. If you do that, then all of a sudden your results change, but more than your results changing, when you change your comfort zone from the inside out, you're changing the thermostat. The new vision, the new you, becomes your new comfort zone or expectancy point. That is part of what I've done for almost 30 years now. I've learned how to reset my expectancy point and achieve success in every area of my life. When I was on my first book tour around having it all, I had a lot of comments like, "Do you really believe it's possible to have it all?" I said, "Absolutely. You'll never have it if you don't believe that. Can you have it all at the same time? I believe you can. Does it take work? Absolutely. What's the alternative? Not to. Dammy Lawman, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the changes that people are going to be making in their lives to have it all are going to be small changes and little bits at a time, so they may not see the changes day by day. Are there other ways they can measure their success and know that they are going in the right direction?" John Assaraf, absolutely. When we talk about making changes, we are making little changes every single day. If you got onto an airplane right now and the pilot was to shift the destination just by 1 degree, you'd end up in a totally different city. What we want to do is teach people to take baby steps and to take the steps from the inside out, as I've suggested. What happens over the course of 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, a year, 3 years, or 5 years is that you end up with an unbelievably different and more wonderful life because that's what you're focusing on. It's really life by design. Some things you can achieve a lot faster. Some things will take a little bit more time. It just depends on what you're dealing with. What's your skill level? What's your knowledge level? What are you starting with? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to attract and move toward? It's different for each person, but I can share with you that I have a 100% success ratio with people who follow the program. I have a 100% ratio of nothing changing with people who don't. It's no different than if I gave you a brand spanking new Mercedes-Benz and you drove it into a ditch. The problem is not with the car. It's either the driver not driving it well or the driver just leaving it parked. That's really the key, to understand that you have to have the right information, you have to have instruction in the right order, and you have to take action. If you do that, your results can be predictable. Dammy Lawman, John, are there other laws of the universe? I know we've talked about the law of attraction, the law of resonance, and the law of Goya, which I love. Are there other laws of the universe that people can use to help them along their journey? John Assaraf, absolutely. There are 7 main ones that I talk about in the Having It All program. I teach these and really help people incorporate that into their lives. One of the other laws that's really important to understand and live by is the law of gestation or the incubation law. If you think about this just for a moment, every seed has an incubation period. If you have a carrot seed, we know that a carrot takes 70 days or so for it to become a carrot from the seed. If you had sheep, he'll give you an obscure one, it's about 165 days. For a human embryo, the male sperm and the egg get together, and 285 days later, give or take some time, you have a baby. Every idea is a spiritual seed. Whenever we're looking to have our spiritual seeds manifest, we have to also understand that there is a gestation or incubation period. Some of them we know and others we don't. We also know that when we're dealing with seeds, there's a season to sow, and there's a season to reap the rewards. We can't do them both in the same season. We have to use the law of gestation and the law of patience and temper it with our knowing that the universe does what she does maximally, efficiently, and on time every time with no exceptions. We have to stop digging up our seeds and trust that the universe is doing her part. Now we need to make sure that we're doing the right part ourselves. Dammy Lawman, wonderful. John, I know you've put together a special offer for our audience tonight with your Having It All program. Can you give people a little bit more detail about what's included with that? John Assaraf, absolutely. There's a program that I've lived by myself and that I've taught all over the world. It's really a goal-achieving program. The goal-achieving program starts off by really explaining to people how to tap into and utilize the natural forces of the universe. It talks about how to use the law of attraction, law of gestation, and the other natural laws. It discusses how to utilize your brain better and how to retrain your brain so that you're not just setting goals, but you're actually achieving the goals that you set. That takes a combination of three things. Number one is getting absolute clarity. Number two is putting the right beliefs and habits in at the subconscious level. I take people through a step-by-step process and system of how to do that. Number three is creating the right plans to take action every day, week, and month. It's a set of disciplines and actions, a daily action plan, and a daily success discipline that will help people achieve their goals instead of just set them. What I also did was I included a CD in this program called the Neural Reconditioning Cd. It's a program that people can listen to when they wake up every morning. There are 4 different tracks, and they are each about 7 to 8 minutes long. I kept them really short. They utilize the best in brain entrainment technology to really get people to alter their beliefs at a subconscious level. I'm including that in this package for individuals right now. It's called Having It All, and it will help you really set and achieve goals for your health, wealth, relationships, career, business, spiritual connectedness, and contribution. It really, in my opinion, is the best program in the world that I've put together in order for people to really give themselves the best chance to live their life's purpose and meaning and really live the values that are important to them. Dammy Lawman, wonderful. You guys, if you want to go ahead and take a look at that program, we have a special link set up for you. Go on over to www.intentionevent.com/hire. That stands for Having It All. For those of you who are listening via webinar, you have a nifty little link there that we already have set up for you. All you have to do is click on that button that says Special Offer from John. That will take you over so you guys can take a look at that. I hope you guys will go and take a look at it. It's all about taking responsibility for your life and making the changes that you need to make. Like John said earlier, it wasn't the car's fault. It's going to be the driver's responsibility. It's all up to you to take these tools, tips, and techniques and apply them. You have the proper methods to make these important changes that are going to get you what you want out of your life. I hope you'll take advantage of John's offer here. It's very generous. John, I know we have a couple of minutes left before we let you go jump in the ocean over there. What's the single most important thing our audience should remember about manifesting what they want? John Assaraf, the most important thing is to really understand that they are capable of achieving a lot more than they are achieving right now. If they follow a proven process, they can have a predictable result. If they are willing to let go of what hasn't worked in the past and they are willing to learn something new, then they are going to be able to achieve something new. Dammy Lawman, awesome. Again, you guys, there's one more chance to go over and take a look at that. That link for John's program, Having It All, is www.intentionevent.com/hire. You guys can go ahead and take advantage of that special offer there. We definitely want you to have it all. You are definitely worthy of it. I'm always shocked and surprised to hear from you guys who tell me that you don't think that you're worthy of having these wonderful things in your life. You are worthy. You can have these things. You have a purpose to fulfill, and we want to help you find that. Until next time, thank you for listening in. Manifest everything. Well, talk to you guys soon. Good night, everybody. John Assaraf, good night, everybody, and thanks. www.intentionevent.com